let's be clear what happened. Who capitulated here and why? And I don't want to say this because I'm a patriot. I'm an American. But it is the White House who capitulated based on everything I hear and all my sources. And the reason why is because of the bond market and what happened last night. Bessent knows this better than anybody. When you have yields on the 10-year rising to 5%, stuff starts shutting down. When you have the lending markets screwed up. By the way, who was dumping the bonds? Somebody asked them if it was China, right? Mm-hmm. It wasn't. It was Japan. While he was negotiating with Japan, according to my sources, who are running major money management firms that are involved in the bond market, without giving up names, Japan was dumping bonds because they believed this was not a great place to do business. That forced their hands.
Now, for all you people who don't know, well, MAGA who don't know what that big word he used, that C word, capitulated, whatever he said, capitulated, however you pronounce it, that means they folded. That means they saw what was happening and they folded. And I reported about this earlier. I saw reports about this. I saw articles. I went and verified it myself, and you can go verify all this stuff through the Treasury site, right? And you can see it through the Trading Commission sites. They were selling off bonds, and they were going to start crashing the market, and that's why Trump paused the 90-day tariffs. It wasn't because the stock market was crashing initially. It wasn't because 70 people called. As a matter of fact, they're not even telling you which countries. They're just saying 70 countries to feed your ego, MAGA. The bottom line is they started selling off U.S. bonds. And if they would have kept selling off, we would have went straight into a recession. It would have been so bad that there's no way that MAGA could have gaslit anyone. Everyone in this country would have felt it. The value of our dollar would have went down so bad that we would have had no choice but to go into a recession. It would even have been avoidable at that point. So that's why he caved. I don't understand how hard is it for people to see through it. It's not that it's hard. It's just that you guys don't want to admit the wrong choices, because it doesn't matter if you're Republican or Democrat. If you make a wrong choice, you make a wrong choice. And there's ways to negotiate tariffs without going into a tariff war, without going into a trade war. We've done it. We've been doing it. Hell, Donald Trump did it his first term. So I'm not understanding why we keep going through this and trying to see who folded, who not. It doesn't matter who folded, because at the end of the day, all of this should have never happened. But if we want to get down to it, Donald Trump folded.
BMW is going to rethink South Carolina because it's not going to import tariffed parts, engines from Germany, then to send those vehicles to export them. So again, it will mean, if that plant stays open, it will mean fewer jobs potentially, because they're going to make those vehicles somewhere else.
Well, where are they going to sell them now?
They sell them to China. They sell them to China, and they sell them to Europe.
So every American customer who could buy a BMW could be replaced overnight by a Chinese customer.
They sell them they export them to China.
No, but I'm saying you can't make up for
They import the parts, which will be tariffed, and then they will export them from the United States, where they're manufactured, back to Europe, where they will be tariffed again, and then to China and nations around the globe, right? So these are the problems that a U.S. manufacturer faces, because the parts are coming from somewhere else.
They can also just make the parts here. They can make the car
No, they can't. Absolutely not. That's a fallacy.
It's impossible?
Yeah, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years. How about it?
It wouldn't take that long. Anyway, as far as the payments are concerned.
To build German engines in the United States. Okay. Well.
She works for Fox. Do you see why we say you guys are part of a cult? She works for Fox. She's part of Fox News. She's a business expert, and she's telling you why the tariffs on the automotive section of things will not work, because the cost will be too much. You will have triple tariffs. You will have to tariff the parts coming in, then you will have to tariff the part going out. It's just, come on. It would go from ship to ship to ship. 3 tariffs. Come on, man. we got to really think about this stuff sometimes. I'm sorry, why I say 3 tariffs? 2 tariffs. We'll get tariffs twice, and then the consumers will have to pay for it. Why did I think 3? Because if you pay for the parts to come in, you build the car, and then you got to pay for it to go out to the next country. Yeah, it's only twice. So it's not going to be 3 times, but she's definitely correct. It would cost Americans too much money to build a BMW here in America. BMW knows that. That's why they would rather stay where they're at and build German cars where they're building it, so they don't have to deal with. They would rather deal with one tax, no matter how much it is, than getting double taxed, and then still having to pay higher wages for people to build it here, to build a manufacturer. It's just not cost effective. I don't get why he needed to fuss with her with that.
Why you decided to put a 90-day pause?
Well, I thought that people were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid.
And by afraid, he means they started selling bonds. That's what he meant by afraid. Now it all comes together. He didn't mean the people. He didn't mean news reporters and people going crazy. It's the fact that stocks were going down. People started selling their bonds. He was already manipulating the market anyway. It shot down. His billionaire friends, whoever was able to buy in. He saw it was getting too deep. He got to find that sweet spot. What's the sweet spot of making sure my millionaire friends and myself, because we know he likes to buy on the down, can buy on the down without crashing the market too much. And that point was when other countries started selling their bonds. Now it's time for market manipulation. I'm pausing the tariffs. Boom, biggest gains in history. I don't understand how you can call it the biggest gains in history after you just crash it. Of course it's going to be a big gain like that. You just crashed the market. For almost a week straight, you crashed the market. And then you go, oh, everything's fine. That's manipulation, man. But that's the real reason why. Market manipulation, and countries started selling their bonds. People made billions. There are millionaires. Millionaires turned into billionaires today, or yesterday, and billionaires just made more money. If and when, because I do see it happening, we go into a recession, what's going to happen is prices are going to come down, right? But people are going to lose their jobs because the need for things are not going to be there. The demand is not going to be there. But what happens in a recession and things like the Great Depression, the millionaires become billionaires and the billionaires just solidify their wealth. Because now they have the resources and the money to survive a recession and a depression. So now they're going to buy up all the real estate. They're going to buy up all. So all those home prices that drop, they're going to drop tremendously. All that real estate is going to drop. Everything's going to drop down. But no one's going to have the money to buy it, but the millionaires and the billionaires. So they buy more of it. And by the time we're out of the recession and everyone's praising him for this great economy that we're back in now, because that's what's going to happen, they're going to forget that he ruined it in the first place. Everyone's even richer than what they were before, and poor people are still poor. And the middle class is hurting even more. Mark my words.
We have just been overwhelmed by the response from mostly our allies who want to come and negotiate in good faith. So we are expecting them to come with their best deal. As I said a week ago today, don't retaliate. Hold your ground. Let's see what happens. And China, they kept escalating, and now they have 125% tariffs that will be effective immediately.
What do y'all expect? Oh, Matt got that. Tell me in the comments. What do y'all expect them to do? We threw the first punch. We had a deal. If you wanted a new deal, call them up and renegotiate a deal. You don't have to throw a punch and just start an all-out tariff war and expect the government who has to represent their people to just bend over. What do you expect them to do? And first of all, name a country. Name one. I bet the countries that call are small countries without a fully established economy. Guarantee it. It's countries that cannot survive on their own. But China and the EU, at some point, they'll find a way. They have the resources to find a way. Now, do they want to? No. But that's just not going to fold over. What are they supposed to do with such a big economy and people watching them? They're not going to, you expect them not, oh, we're going to give you tariffs even though we already have a trade agreement. We're going to break that because we feel like it's unfair. And then you can't do anything. And then because they do exactly what you did to them, you want to raise up the tariffs anymore? Well, guess what? Even more? Well, guess what? They did the same thing. They raised it even more. China can go blow for blow. I don't understand who is sitting down talking to these people. You don't have to be an economist to know that China can go blow for blow with the U.S. when it comes to the economy. All the manufacturing is either in China or Mexico. All the technology is in China. We're behind. We shipping everything come from China over here. They can easily go through Mexico if they wanted to, and then we would have to go through Mexico for everything, especially going on the East Coast. They could seriously say, we're not even going through the Panama Canal if we don't want to. We're going, you know what? We're going to build all our ports and stocks on the side of Mexico, and if you want something on the East Coast or going through the center of the United States, go through Mexico for everything. We're no longer dealing with y'all. They could easily do that. They have the resources and money to do that. I don't understand y'all. All right. If you're still here with me, go ahead and hit that like and subscribe button. We are almost at like 4,200 subscribers. I never even thought I'll have 4,000 subscribers. So I do thank everyone who subscribed to the channel, who is supporting me. I see y'all in the comments. I see y'all in my shorts. I do a lot of news shorts, like, you know, breaking news shorts. I don't do long form news breaking videos. Not yet. I might start. But I do see y'all in the comments. I do see some of y'all loyal ones. I do appreciate it. Some of y'all are loyal. Y'all see my videos and comment even though you're not subscribed. So hit that subscribe button. I will see you next video.